Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here with the Autumn Windbags. Back with another one. RJ's not here. RJ's doing something more important, like flying back from Paris. But great victory today. Great bounce back game. Missing a lot of people. A lot of other players stepped up. We're going to get to a lot of it. Let's see here. Sam made quite a long time ago, around 2:15. Thanks for being a member, by the way, Sam. Subscriber. We're winning this game 24-20. Pretty damn close. And he said here, I was close. 1-4. So, all right, guys. A lot to talk about. So, let me hit this banner up here. It was a weird game. Ups and downs. And these ups and downs weren't just like a play here, a play there. The first, quarter and change, the Browns killed it. We had like 3 plays in the first quarter or something like that. Got up 10-0. Second quarter, we took over, scored 10 of our own, all knotted up at the half. Third quarter comes out, more of the same, get an interception, get some stops, score 10 more points, up 20-10. Unfortunately, we had that fumble by Zeus, who I think only played a couple plays after that. And because it's another fumble by Zeus, can't have that. It's probably I think it's third fumble already or second fumble. That was tough, but thankfully for us, the Browns kicker misses the extra point and keeps it a 4-point game, which really changed the trajectory of the game and how the game was played after that. The Browns moving the ball down the field at the end of the game and having to go for the touchdown instead of kicking a tying field goal. And Snowden and Chason, who would have thought that those guys would have been the ones who closed the game out, right? But yes, the bad guys win 20-16. Not an offensive display here, but it kind of was in a way, and we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and get that rolling. Oh, big win, guys. There's a huge difference out there. There's a huge difference between being 2-2 and being 1-3. And I think if you were to come into the season and say, okay, our first 4 games are against the Chargers or against the Ravens or against the Panthers and against the Browns, and you're going to go 2-2, I would go ahead and be like, all right, I can go with that. Because the next stretch of games isn't too daunting before the season, and also even now you take a look at the next stretch of games, and I think Pittsburgh got a little bit exposed today for being, who they really were. Indy hosted the Steelers today, and the Steelers looked absolutely god awful. Justin Fields looked absolutely freaking terrible. He showed who he was. I think this whole smoke and mirrors. A lot of quarterbacks out there can win when your defense is holding teams to 10 points a game. I don't think that's a too tough a game. We still got to go out there and play hard, but we're looking at opponents here. It says a lot, and we're going to get to a lot of the stuff here. This win is a good foundational win moving forward. You didn't have your best player on offense. You didn't have your best player on defense. You're missing, 4 starters on defense. You're missing 3 starters on offense. It's a lot. It's a lot. And the young guys on the offensive line showed up. Huge. 100. The same amount of yards that we had in this entire season, we had in this game. I think we had 153 yards total in the first 3 games, and we had 152 today. And Alexander, man, it's got to be RB1 from here on out. I don't know what you guys think, but if you take into account his versatility, if you take into account how he is more patient on runs, if you take into account the ball security issues, I don't see how Zamir White, he had a lot of yards, right? He had more yards than he's had in the season with 50, but he had 17 carries to get it, which is like less than 2.9, 3 yards a carry, something like that. Not anything to write home about, Inversely, you got Alexander Madison, who's got 5 carries for 60 yards, no fumbles. It goes to show that you have to learn from the information that you're getting. All right. All right. So let's start from the beginning. A big issue, and if you guys follow me on I tweet throughout the game, so if you guys follow me on Twitter, you're probably going to know a lot of what I'm going to say already. And that's my Twitter handle right there. Mr. Wonderful 42. It's my Twitter handle. So go ahead and follow me if you've done already. What we need to focus on is how we're playing situationally. Situational football, when you don't have like a franchise quarterback, you better be really sound at situational football. One of the situations that's extremely important, especially when you're struggling a little bit offensively, is third down defense. That's the money down. That's the money down offensively, and it's the money down defensively, right? That's where you make your money, on third down. And if you can't stop teams on third down, you're going to have a tough go at it. And early in the game, we weren't able to stop Cleveland on third down. They were just marching down the field. Like the first freaking drive, 14, 15 play drive. A lot of those were third down plays. They converted every single one in the first quarter. I think after the first quarter, they didn't convert any third downs. So that just goes to show you the only reason they scored points after the first quarter was a fumble recovery. Their offense didn't score anything after the first quarter. So what we're looking at right now is being better on third down ourselves and being better on being good on third down defensively. Initially, it was inverse. We were terrible on third down offensively, terrible on third down defensively. That is the biggest turnaround for me in this game. It's not an individual effort by a player, because there was some nice individual efforts, but the ability to get off the field and the ability to sustain drives, not only to score points, but sustain drives to run the clock out and shorten the game a little, which is what we wanted to do. Before the game started, I tweeted out, I said, we need to blitz some more. We need to bring more pressure. Number one, the Browns offensive line was in a worse shape than our offensive line. They were, and it's like, I'm not crying for them, Argentina, at all. We are dealing with the same thing. We had 2 starters, 2 rookie starters. And another side note, our first, second, and third round picks started this game, and they all played pretty well. DJ Glaze had, he had one little hiccup, on the holding play. But other than that, played pretty well. JPJ, I think he, showed himself nice. He was a bully in there. Great. Bowers is always tough. Showed some versatility. This is what we're looking for out of the young players to come in here. Young players like DJ Turner's been in the league for a little bit, but he's finally getting a chance to play. Big plays out of him. Trey Tucker, second-year guy, getting more chance, using his versatility, using his speed. Great work there. Isaiah Polomau coming in there, breaking up a huge pass late in the game. Big tackles. What else did he do? He did one thing. He got a sack. So these young guys are stepping up, and to a certain extent, yeah, it is next man up. But when you're losing such really core players, Epps was one of the big free agent signings last season. He's gone. Maxx is, the leader of your team and defense. He was gone. Davante was your franchise offensive player. He was gone. But these kids, these young guys stepped up. Whitehair and Pete and any of those other slapdicks that you got in there at guard, they weren't working out. JPJ goes in there looking like half a goof and kills it. So these young guys, they're not caring. It's like, no, my time is now. My time isn't coming. My time is right now. And these injuries are just giving me an opportunity to show what I can do. I think because of the fact that we didn't have a Davante offensively, we were able to, Getsy was able to be a little bit more creative offensively, which is what I've been calling for the entire season. Bring more pressure on defense, be more creative on offense. That's what happened here today. You can still play this way, but also have a Davante Adams on the team. Now, you're not going to run rail reverse with Davante Adams. I would never suggest doing that. But there were plenty of plays out there where it was just a regular, traditional pass play where we needed to get a good 4 or 5 yards, and we know Davante is able to get open and get those for us. It was a good win considering all the people that were missing from the team. I see there's some people out here who are maybe a little bit. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time because I think you're just I don't know what is your fucking deal. This chode right here, the worst hire in history. Is that Josh McDaniels? It looks kind of like Josh McDaniels without the visor. Huh. This team is utter rubbish. Browns happen to be worse. Well, the Browns were worse today. So I hope you liked your 15 seconds of fame. Look, is this a work in progress? Yes. Is it a finished product? No. A lot of good things we saw today, right? A lot of good things that we saw, a lot of good things that we're going to see moving forward. So to recap, bad guys win 20-16 against the visiting Cleveland Browns. It was a game of ups and downs. Cleveland started off strong and really didn't do anything offensively after that hot start. The only points they scored after the first 2 drives of the game were on a fumble recovery. Their offense is absolutely terrible. Amari Cooper showed why John Gruden wasn't that into keeping him around, because he does disappear at times in games. With all the offensive firepower they had, Judy and Cooper, they didn't have Nick Chubb, and Ford just really ain't it. He had some decent runs and a couple of runs off of broken tackles, but unfortunately, you can't really run the ball too much when you're behind the 8 ball and losing by so much. All right, a couple of things that I've noticed throughout the game, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this, is what we were able to do to create pressure. If Maxx was going to be out for a game, this is like the perfect game for Maxx to be out, because the Cleveland Browns, not only were they like super hurt on the offensive line, they weren't all that great to begin with. So on top of that, they missed their center got their center. I believe it was after an extra point or a field goal attempt is when he got hurt and he was gone for big part of the game. And we were able to do a lot of stunts, a lot of twists, and I think that is a good way to create pressure without having to blitz so much. Because let's be honest, our secondary can get a little bit exposed at times. There was a big drop in coverage late in the game that would have been like a 95-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper that was called back off a hold. But so a lot of guys stepped up, and those stunts and twists were things that I think Patrick Graham needs to keep in his back pocket. Like, hey, we need to do this maybe a little bit more, because just lining these guys up and beat the guy in front of you, especially when you don't have Maxx Crosby, it's going to be pretty tough. On the opposite side of Maxx, whether it was Robinson or Snowden or or Tyree Wilson or whoever it was on the opposite end. Those guys weren't getting sacks and pressures either, even though we were, double teaming Maxx on the other side. So if you're double teaming Maxx on the other side and your tackle can handle the opposite defensive end, then you're fine. We need to still do some games and some twists and stunts up front to be able to create pressure. And I think that's part of the learning process of this coaching staff. I said a couple of things, this information, like knowledge isn't power, right? Knowledge applied properly is power. So you're getting all this knowledge from these games coming up, and okay, I need to bring pressure, stunts and twists, or ways I can do it. I don't have to always blitz and stuff like that. That's the way we're able to do it defensively. Offensively, let me get some water. Offensively, what we were looking at is different ways to open up the run game. It wasn't just running the ball up the middle, pounding it up the middle. It's trying to get the ball on the outsides, on the perimeters. They used Brock Bowers on a sweep. They used McAllister on a couple of tosses. They used Tucker. They used DJ Turner. They're using these guys in different ways. And these are the ways that you want to use these guys, even if they don't gain a lot of yardage. Like McAllister, I hope McAllister's okay, by the way, because he took a couple of brutal hits in special teams. But McAllister had two runs for 11 yards. The thing is when you're able to have a formation that normally you run up the middle with, but you're able to pitch the ball and get the edge on these, like we did with Bowers, like you did with Turner and Tucker, you're able to have to expand the vision of the players. They're not just keying in on a funnel. Okay, this is where the ball is going. I'm going to just come right in here. And it's going to help you create some more lanes for yourself in the run game. And we had 5.2 yards per carry today. And a lot of that was getting the ball to the outsides, getting more creative, not just sitting there. Like I said in the last episode, you can't just line up and expect to just beat the guy's ass in front of you every single play. You got to start using some advantages with different personnel, which we did. Bowers, I don't think, had to carry the entire season. McAllister, Tucker, and Turner had carries. So 4 guys that didn't have carries, I don't believe, or very few carries up until today. So the personnel was different. The formation was different. The play call was more creative. These are things that we need to do. These are the things that teams like the 49ers do, that teams like the Dolphins do to be able to run the ball more effectively, is they use different personnel, different formations, and they break tendencies, and they're able to be more creative, which is what I've been calling for since the first game, and we're actually getting some dividends coming back from that. Let's see here. I see a lot of us are just still ingrained in our positions, and we'll talk about it. We still need to start AOC and Madison. Well, I'm agree with Madison. AOC, okay, we can disagree on that. Not that Gardner Minshew had a killer game or anything like that, but you guys are acting like he's the reason why we lost. Let's see here. After Keith Pardini, thank you for being a subscribing member. Appreciate it, man. Subscriptions are open, by the way. I hear a lot of you guys complaining on the comment section. Oh, you guys have so many commercials and so many ads, bro. This stuff ain't cheap to produce. Okay, like all the stuff that we have to be able to produce, it's not cheap. And I'm not trying to have you guys feel sorry for me or anything. But if you don't want to hear commercials, subscribe and you don't get commercials. Yeah, I mean, I think Gitsy did a much better job today. I think he did a much better job. And I think we should acknowledge that. I think that the more creative way of play calling was a big reason why we were able to kind of I wouldn't say cure, but temporarily at least push back the issues that we've had running the football. I'm extremely excited about this win because it shows a lot of things. It shows a lot of heart. Look, Antonio Pierce isn't this offensive guru or like a defensive mastermind, right? That's not who he is. Antonio Pierce is a guy that comes in and he galvanizes a team. He gets them to play hard. He gets them to play together. That's why I was so concerned about last week, because if AP has teams not showing up ready to play, he's no use to us because he doesn't really excel at anything else. He's not, like I said, an offensive or defensive genius, right? Where he can just get us in these crazy plays and scheme up these crazy things, for all these other teams. His value is to get the team to show up, be disciplined, and play hard. If he can't do that, that's a huge issue. This team showed up today missing how many starters from the beginning of the season? Let's count it. There's Epps, there's Diablo, there's Kuntz, there's Maxx. So there's 4 on the defensive side. On the offensive side, you didn't have Thayer Munford. You didn't have Michael Mayer. You didn't have Davante Adams. So 7 starters that you thought you were going to have in the beginning of the season didn't play today. Okay? Despite that, we still won the game. The defense came up huge after the first couple of drives, now allowing a single point after the second drive of the game, not allowing a single third down conversion after the second drive of the game. My game ball goes to the defense because of that. It didn't always look great, but the defense, after the first couple of drives, got it together, and they're able to stop these guys, and Cleveland really wasn't able to do anything after that. Let's see here. Look, and as far as AP goes, you can have an extremely long coaching career being that disciplinarian, iron fist in the velvet glove type of guy. You can still love on players. You can still love on them, but be hard on them, right? You can still do that. There's a John Harbaugh's, and, not too far away in the same division, there's Mike Tomlin. Harbaugh was a special teams coach when he was hired. Tomlin, I think he was a defensive back coach. He was a wide receiver in college. He wasn't like a coordinator or anything. He gets hired. These guys aren't married to one side of the ball or the other. They're just good, solid coaches. And AP's just starting out, man. He's starting out. On top of that, we have to take a look at some of the development of these young guys. I said it to start the show. Snowden and Chasen are the guys that ended the game for us. Who? These guys weren't on the roster. They weren't on the active roster to start the season. I think this is Chasen's first game that he's been active, right? I think this might be. These are guys that are young guys that have something to prove, that have ability. You also, have guys like on offensively, there's like the Turners, the Tuckers of the world. Tucker's a known quantity now. The Browns were super scared of Tucker. They were just giving him all kinds of cushion. But you got the Turners, there's the Madisons, who's, he was more of a journeyman type of guy, backup role. So you're getting a lot of these young players pull them out defensively. You're getting a lot of these young guys that are stepping up and, really taking on the role. And that's what you want to see. You'd love to have your star players be their best players every single week because they're the ones who have the most ability. But every once in a while, you want to have these young guys show you what they can do. And the more they show you they can do, the more unpredictable you can be. London Raider. Polamalu is a baller. He's a dude. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for quite some time. I saw every single snap of Polamalu's college career at USC, and this dude was just a walking turnover. 6'4", missile, fast, long. You saw his range in that long pass to Judy I think it was in the middle of the fourth quarter. He had the ball. It was dropped in the bucket. It was perfect, and great coverage. I think it was Jack Jones. Great coverage by Jack, or it was Hobbs. Great coverage, but it was a perfect pass. And Polamalu came in the end and knocked the ball out. And that was a play that I don't know that Epps makes that play. I don't think he has the type of range that Polamalu does. I think we're seeing guys that can step up in the future and can be future starters for this team, not just this season, but moving forward, and that it may be a little bit more versatile, right? Dare I say that we're maybe a little bit more versatile, a little bit more multiple on offense when we don't have to feed Davante Adams. I'm not saying we're not going to be better with or without him. I'm not saying that. But you can still carry, like I said earlier, you can carry this philosophy of a more diverse and creative offense with Davante Adams. It just makes you even better. It makes you even better than that. Let's see here. All right. Let's take a quick peek here at some stats. We have Gardner Minshew, 14 of 24. Not great. Not great. Not terrible. Not great. 130 yards. That's not good. 5.5. 5.5 yards an attempt, which is pretty bad. Anything lower than 7, 6, high 6 is pretty bad. No touches, no picks, no turnovers, whatever. He got sacked twice, rating of 73. Rushing wise, Alexander Madison, 5 rushes for 60 yards, along with 24. He had a 12-yard average. Zeus, 17 for 50, 2.9-yard average, and a huge fumble. Return for a touchdown. He gave this team 6 points. And he wasn't in on the next series, which, honestly, I don't blame AP. You can't, as good as you are, you can't be putting the ball on the ground. That's part of your responsibility as a running back is we're trusting you with this football. And if you can't hang on to it, you can't play. DJ Turner, one rush for an 18-yard touchdown. Great play on that. This goes to show you the young guys on this team who are not giving up and who are not mailing it in. There were no business decisions today because Brock Bowers on that DJ Turner reverse for a touchdown blocked 2 dudes. He blocked one dude into another dude, and they both ended up on the ground. Brock Bowers is a freaking stud. On the outside, you had Trey Tucker, who was blocking the corner until the whistle. Like he was not going to let up blocking this dude. And because of that, Turner was able to get in there and score. McAllister had a couple of Brock Bowers had one run on a nice little quick it was more of like an H-back reverse type of thing for 12 yards. McAllister had 2 runs for 11 yards. Tucker had 1 run for 3 yards. There was a little bit more available to him, I think, but he was able to wiggle, and he did get a touchdown on that. And Minshew, 2 carries for negative 2 yards. We saw a lot of other young players come in. De'Cameron Richardson is still injured and not playing. Tommy Eichenberg went in there, and he looked fast, man. Eichenberg looked fast. He looked good. He had a couple of tackles. I think. Let's see what Eichenberg did today. He had a couple of tackles on special teams. I know that. 3 solo tackles. Yeah, he had 3 solo tackles. He didn't play too much. Spillane's out there killing it. 12 tackles, tackle for loss, just killing it, just freaking killing the game. Luke Masterson, 6 tackles, 5 solo. Polamalu, 6 tackles, 4 solo. He had a sack, a tackle for loss, a pass defense, and a quarterback hit. This dude's a baller, bro. I'm telling you guys right now. I've been telling you guys for 3 seasons, Isaiah Polamalu. I don't know how this man was not drafted. This guy is a freaking stud, and he's just getting a chance to prove it now. Marcus Epps was only signed on a 2-year deal. He's done after this season. I say we could probably let him go and have Polamalu go ahead and slide in there because this dude, he can play. Adam Butler had a really nice game. Initially, he was getting pushed around a lot in the run game, but he acquitted himself nicely. He ended up with 6 tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for loss. So nice job by Butler. Merrick had a pass defense, and he had the interception on the tipped ball that was intended for Amari Cooper, but it was tipped up in the air, and he went and got it. Nice work there. But then you guys got Cleon Chasen. He had 4 tackles. He just signed off the scrap heap. He was just sitting there. We signed him. He looked good. I mean, does he look like a game record? No, but you don't have to be a game record. You just got to play hard. Snowden went in there. Snowden had 3 tackles, 2 solo. He had a sack and tackle for loss, a pass defense, 3 quarterback hits for Snowden, more than anyone else on the team. Christian Wilkins also had 3 hits and a half a sack. So it's like, yeah, man, these guys are around the quarterback. That's what they're in there to do. Let's see here. Keith Pardini, thank you again for being a subscribing member. What do you think of Tommy Eichenberg? This is the first time he has played back in any meaningful way. Yeah, man, I think he looked good. I like the way he looked. He looked quick. He looked decisive. He was in position to make plays. He was always around the tackle. Even if he wasn't the guy tackling, he was always around the ball. I liked him a lot. I think with a little bit more playing time, and he's going to show you he can do even more. He hasn't even rushed the quarterback. He can do that too. Nick 209, thank you for being a member, bud. Brown's not a good football team. No, they weren't, and we beat them. You guys, last week wasn't a trap game. You have to understand that. Trap games work the opposite. Trap games is you lose the game before the big game, which is the next one. We won the big game, and then we had a letdown. It was a letdown game, not a trap game. When you lose to the Panthers, you don't just poo-poo beating the Browns, all right? Do you guys not remember last week we lost to the Panthers? Do you remember that? At the end of the season, they don't discount a win to a half because you beat the Browns, okay? Every win counts. Every win matters. And if last week didn't teach you anything, I don't have anything for you, man. You guys are shitting on this win. Multiple people are shitting on this win, shitting on players, shitting on coaches when we had probably one of the better coaching jobs of the year already this season. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get what's wrong with you guys. I understand that maybe your bubble was burst yet last week because of the way the team went out. Trust me, I was there. I was pissed too. But I also understand that 4 games into a season is not the season. And if you guys want to be negative, if you guys want to be miserable, if you guys want to just nitpick and, kick the supermodel out of your bed because she didn't have a pedicure, fine, be that guy. I'm not going to do that. And also, I'm not going to entertain it either. Keith Pardini, sorry, wrong one. I can verify that you've been talking to Polamalu for some time. I have. I've been watching that dude since he was a freshman in college. Dude was a freaking stud. No name. Stop trying to hype up Getsy. He's just kind of play calling his run pass. Dude, what are you talking about? I've been critical of Getsy this entire time. I don't know if you're a new listener or not. I'm saying that today was the most creative play calling that we've had the entire season. Is that not true? I believe it's true. I think they did a much better job today. I wouldn't say great, but they did a much better job today defensively creating pressure without Maxx Crosby, which they didn't do last week. And this week, being a little bit more creative, being a little bit more versatile offensively, which they haven't been so far. So I guess if you want to be negative, then fine. I guess the only person that I will be like, all right, yeah, he deserves that, would probably be Zeus. But I shit on the guy too because he fumbled the ball again. That he deserves to, be like, all right, Madison needs to start. Madison needs to get the lion's share of these freaking carries because you can't be putting the ball on the ground like that. Oh God. Oh, let me borrow that crystal ball while you're at it. All right, no name. And if he doesn't, what? What are you going to do for me if he doesn't? Exactly. See, I'm not like RJ. RJ is just professional. Like, oh well, you don't argue with people, dude. You know what? If you get to be a freaking like a buzzkill or just a negative, I'm gonna call you a negative Nelly, just because. Okay, fine. If you think he's gonna go back to being that old guy, then just don't even watch the game. Then why even watch the game? We're paying the donkeys. They beat the freaking Jets today in a freaking torrential downpour rain. I don't know if that's gonna happen next week in Denver. I think the weather is going to be quite nice in Denver next week. First week is still autumn. First week of October. First weekend of October there in Denver should be a good time. Where is RJ? Where is RJ? RJ is on a plane right now, flying back from Gay Paris. Emphasis on the gay. He did the UFC in Paris over the weekend, and he's flying back. They don't give him any time to enjoy it wherever he's going. He's like he flew out on Wednesday because he had to be there Thursday for like the setup and all that stuff. He did a lot of the pre-stuff on Friday, like the pre-fight show and the weigh-in show and all that stuff on Friday. He does the actual show on Saturday, and Sunday he's already on a flight. Crazy, man. Crazy. Like, yeah, he gets to go to Paris, but it's like, yeah, do you really get to go to Paris? Like he'll fly back and still not be jet lagged because he wasn't there long enough to get jet lagged. Let's see here. Johnny Gons, man, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it, bro. You were a long time contributor and supporter of the show. Much appreciated, brother. Great win, yes, sir. Soto, you had it first on Polamalu. The kid is pure energy, and please, no more Zamir. Keep it Madison and McAllister. I'm cool with Madison, dude. I'm cool with Madison. I think he shows a lot more potential and a lot more burst in the open field, too. I mean, Zeus is fast, but I think McAllister has that rare blend of having wiggle while keeping your speed. Not quite as good. I'm not comparing him to Josh Jacobs whatsoever, but Josh Jacobs had a similar trait where he can change direction while keeping speed. And that's a special trait. Now, I don't know that Madison has that to the level of Josh Jacobs. I don't think he does, but he does have it. And you saw it today where he was wiggling through and bouncing outside and jump cuts and stuff like that while keeping his speed, that's the most important thing. I know a lot of guys that can do a jump cut, but it takes them a little while to get going after that. Let's see here. Sam A will be 3-2, possibly. McBud. Denver D is legit pass the ball and use backs in the system they're suited to. Yeah, I mean, look, Denver has a good defense, but they were playing in conditions that kind of lent to their strong suits, which is running the football. It was pouring rain out there in Jersey today. I mean, it was a torrential downpour. That what was it, Hurricane Helen, I guess it was, whatever it was that hit Florida like whatever a couple days ago. That shit is like going up north, and that was like dumping rain all over the MetLife Stadium, and neither team could pass the ball. I mean, either way, the pass offense of the Browns or the Broncos isn't all that great. But there's going to be an issue stopping the run. They are much better at running the football than a lot of the teams that we've faced. And their defense is really good against the pass. They get to the quarterback. They put a lot of pressure. The defensive backs are good. So we still have our work cut out for us next week. It's not a gimme. Hopefully we get some of our players back. Keith Pardini again. Madison has good eyes and feel the holes. Yes, he does feel the holes. Good for him. Spot on Belushi, thank you, sir. Sam A, thank you for the super chat, brother. Much appreciated. If we lost this game, it was going to be a snowball to 1-9. Yeah, look, and Sammy, thanks for saying that, because ultimately, it's almost like You guys remember when we were on the 1 yard line, and then we had a big play. Like, I think it was a long run by Madison, right? I think it was like a 20-yard run or something like that. Something like that. So we had a long run by Madison. Okay. And that put us in a different mindset. Okay. Hey, you know what? We're no longer backed up. What we wanted to do is just not get a safety and punt the ball away. Now that we're, on the 25-yard line, let's see if we can score some damn points here before the half's over. Changes the mindset. Same team, same players, but the mindset is different. Now, you get a sack, I think, right after that, or a penalty right after that. And now you're like, all right, we're backed up. It's 3rd and 16. Let's just kneel this freaking ball and get out of here. Or 4th and 16, whatever it was, 2nd and 16, whatever it was. Let's just kneel and get out of here. Your situation dictates your decisions. If you're a 1-3 football team going on the road, not sure if you're going to have your best 2 players, missing 7 players from your starting team that you thought you were going to have offensively and defensively. Who knows? The team may have been more inclined to push younger players and see what they have, even though it's really early in the season. I'm not saying they were. I'm not saying they would or wouldn't. But the situation does change a lot of things. Now that we're 2-2, and the players that played the best in this game are first, second year, third year players, hell, man, these are guys that you can really, put out there and win games with. Okay, great. Let's see what they can do. Let's adjust our offense, what we're going to do offensively. We've already adjusted defensively. And I think we all have a little bit more confidence in Patrick Graham than we do in Luke Getsy, right? He was able to do what a lot of teams out there wouldn't be able to do. You take 2 defensive ends, your 2 starting defensive ends, they're gone. Okay? You take your best coverage linebacker and your free safety, take them out of the game. They're done. And you're still able to do a performance, not putting your defense in jeopardy, still having that in your mind that my secondary can be exposed at times. I need to create pressure without blitzing too much. And you're able to do that with your 4 down linemen. I think it's a great job by Patrick Graham. So I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be an up and down thing where we, forget who we are for a week defensively. Offensively, I can't guarantee that Getsy won't go back to the old, Raiders tango, right? Run, pass, kick. Like I can't guarantee he won't do that, but he was aware enough this week to get a lot more players, a lot younger players involved, and it really did help this running offense. Also, that helped a lot was having Jackson Powers Johnson in the game as well. Let's just be honest here. That dude's a freaking stud. Dave. Sam fills the holes. That's right, Sam. Sam fills those holes. All right, here, what else we got? Keith Pardini again. I get the feeling Zeus is the type of player that does exactly what the coach wants and doesn't adjust if the hole is not there. Madison, like Jacobs, can adjust. It's just vision, man. It's just a vision as a running back. I think he's more of a downhill type of runner. But you can be a downhill type of runner like that and still have vision at the line. You can't just sell out for where the hole is supposed to be. You do have to have some vision, some ability to adjust. I think that's the issue with Zeus right now. And also ball security is a huge issue. Ball security, look, when you're a team that's not like explosive offensively, right? We're definitely not. I don't think anyone would ever accuse us of being an explosive offensive team. So when you're not an explosive offensive team, you can't turn the ball over. You turn the ball over, it's a recipe for disaster. And having Zeus put the ball on the ground multiple times now this season, I would go as far to suggest that maybe playing Madison more is a good idea. I think he should play more. I think he's shown more as a runner. I think he's more versatile in catching the passes out of the backfield. I think he's shown the ability to be explosive. He's had explosive plays, and I think every single one of our games has had an explosive play. So I think Madison does deserve more playing time for sure. All right, here. Yeah, I was gonna get to the kicking game. Sam A again. AJ Cole. Part of the reason why, because look, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The Browns were having a tough time move the ball because they were missing a lot of guys too. Look, this Jerome Ford kid, he's young and I think he's going to have a bright future. And he had a nice long run against us. But other than that long run, he wasn't all that great. He had 9 carries for what, 23 yards before that long run. I mean, he's not Nick Chubb. I'll tell you that. So they didn't have Nick Chubb. They didn't have a lot of players in the team, and it didn't matter where we were on the field. AJ Cole was knocking them back, and it's a huge weapon for your defense to have, and it's a huge get for us to have him on our team because, man, if we had some just regular old punter out there, giving those short fields to teams who are struggling offensively as well, yeah, it wouldn't have been great. Wouldn't have been great for us. We needed every single but one of his punts to help us win. Dutch Master 710. We were missing Mayer this game. You know what? His blocking would have been a whole lot better. Harrison Bryant did an admirable job in his stead. He caught a couple passes and got a couple of first downs for us, did Harrison Bryant. So I don't want to discount his contributions. He was only targeted twice. He had 2 catches for 21 yards. He had a 9-yard or a 7-yard catch for a first down and a 14-yard catch for a first down. So Harrison Bryant definitely came to play today against his former team. And, is Mayer more talented physically than Bryant? Yeah, he is. He's a better blocker. He was bigger. He probably has a better catch radius and stuff. He can get open a little bit easier. But Harrison Bryant did a good job today, though, in relief of him. And I think everyone else did. You look at receiving wise, Shea Tucker had 5 catches for 41 yards. Nice. Jacoby, 5 catches for 49 yards. Nice. Turner didn't have any catches, but he had that run. He was wide open. Minshew overthrew him in the first quarter. That would have been a huge play. But yeah, that's something that we need to look at here. All right, what else? Where are my notes? How'd my phone go? Don't you hate that? You have your phone with you? There it is. It's like blended in over here. I put some notes on my phone of what I wanted to talk about. Normally, at this point, RJ would be talking his head off, and I would just look at my phone and look at my notes. When we stopped having the miscues, when we stopped having, we were averaging like a little under 4 penalties a game, and we had 4 penalties like within the first 2 drives of the Browns. It just can't happen. I think when Minshew throws the ball on time, he's able to be a much better distributor of the ball and a lot more accurate. I think he gets himself into trouble when the plays are there to be made on time, but he doesn't make them, and he manufactures a broken play. That's when we're getting into trouble. Let's see here. No, man, it's that bad start was just flipped all the way around. Keith Pardini, thanks again for being a subscribing member here. Do you think not having Davante today gave Minshew a little more freedom to spread the ball around more? I don't know, because he wasn't here, and he had, I think, his season low completion percentage. So I'm not sure that's like necessarily a good thing to not have Davante Adams here. I think it did hurt Minshew not having him there. Let's see, 14 divided by 24. Yeah, it's only 58%, man. That's his like season low. So not having him there did hurt Gardner Minshew, but I think not having Davante Adams available did help the offense become a little bit less predictable and a little bit more creative, a little bit more varied. We saw that in motion. We saw that in a lot of the reverses and stuff like that. So I think if we learn something, again, the knowledge has to be applied properly for it to be powerful. We have to apply what we learned from this game moving forward. If we can do that, imagine having an offense where you don't know where the ball is going to go, but you still have a Davante Adams who can get you that tough catch when you need it. You can still feed the guy, right? You can still feed him, but you can also get other people involved too, which you do need to do. Let's see here. Okay, very good. All right, so up next, we have the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos won today at the Jets. I believe it was 10-9 was the score there. It was a rough game. But we're going to need everybody that showed up today. We're going to need them next week. I don't know what's going to happen with Maxx. I'm not too sure. Kind of a day-to-day thing. Davante, again, also a day-to-day thing. Mayer, who knows what's going to happen. I get a lot of rumors swirling around that Davante Adams was quote-unquote hurt. I don't think that's his style. Even when he was having contract disputes with the Packers, he didn't pull moves like that. Mayer, I don't know what the issue is. It was like a personal issue with Mayer. I think why he had to miss the game. Don't know what that is either. Maxx, we know it's his ankle and his foot, high ankle sprain. Those can be tricky to come back from, but getting him off his feet, getting him, the treatment that he needs, he should be able to play next week. Hopefully, I think he should be able to. If he doesn't, we'll have to do more of the same that we did this week. Again, a lot of positives here, guys. A lot of things to be positive about. First and foremost, we won the damn game. Okay, number one. Number two, I think we saw a clear changing of the guard RB1 wise. That Madison does need to be RB1 moving forward. Also, we saw a lot of the young players step up. We saw the first, second, third, and fifth round picks this year on the field and making plays, right? There was Bowers, JPJ, Glaze, Eichenberg, all on the field, all making plays. Got the young guys like Turner, Tucker out there making plays. You got the young guys on the defensive side like Polamalu making big plays. Snowden and Chasen out there making plays. Definitely what we're looking for here is for the young guys to step up when they're called upon. All right, guys. All right, that's my time today, guys. Much appreciated, guys. Stay tuned for the midweek show. RJ should be back and rip roaring to go. Again, great victories today by the bad guys. The Raiders win 20-16 against the Cleveland Browns. Do never apologize for beating an opponent, no matter how good or bad you think they are. Look what happened last week. But that was last week. This is this week. We're 2-2 now, heading into the middle part of our season. This is what we need to do: is go in there on a high note, go in there and kick those donkeys' ass next week. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Till next time, everybody. Peace.